Oh, my heart. If you're a fellow Emmerdale fan, and especially if you're a Robron shipper, tonight's episode wasn't just television. It was an emotional mugging. Grab a cup of tea or something stronger, because we need to talk about what just happened. This wasn't just another row. This was a potential end of an era, scorched earth, no prisoners taken declaration of war. Things have been simmering ever since Aaron Dingle discovered Robert Sugden's massive, life-altering secret, the prison husband, Kev Townsend. But tonight, that pot didn't just boil over. It exploded, taking the entire kitchen with it. We are officially in full-blown crisis mode, and honestly, after the words that were thrown around tonight, it's hard to see how they ever come back from this. Is this really the end for Robert and Aaron? The episode kicked off with a scene that already had us on edge. Robert was at Kev's hospital bedside, where the man who, let's not forget, took a brutal stabbing for him was cheerfully announcing he'd be discharged tomorrow. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Robert knows he's out of time. He finds Aaron, and you can just feel the dread radiating from both of them. This is the moment of truth. Robert, in his classic Robert way, tries to manage the situation, to explain it all away with logic and carefully selected fragments of vulnerability. He lays it out. Kev saved him. They were cornered by vicious thugs. Kev got stabbed as revenge. It was life or death. At the time, I didn't think either of us would be getting out, Robert explained, his voice desperate for Aaron to understand the sheer terror he faced. I certainly didn't think I'd be seeing you again. And then the line that twisted the knife. So when Kev asked me if he survived if I'd marry him, I said yeah. He tries to soften it, he really does. I love him, but I'm not in love with him. I love you. I know you love me too. But for Aaron, this isn't about love anymore. It's about betrayal. It's about the fact that Robert, once again, made a monumental life decision rooted in a lie. Robert pleads for more time before he can leave Kev, a man who just almost died for him. And that right there was the final straw. You could see the exact second Aaron's heart didn't just break, but hardened. The pain was replaced by a cold, sharp fury. I honestly don't want to see you ever again, Aaron said, and the finality in his voice was terrifying. Of course, this is Emmerdale, and that was only the appetizer. The main course of emotional devastation was served up piping hot in the Woolpack. Aaron did what any Dingle does when their world collapses. He went to the pub to get absolutely obliterated. He was tense, irritable, and just looking for a fight. And who should walk in but the one person on earth he can't bear to see? Robert. Why, Robert? Why can't you just leave it alone for one night? Because he's Robert Sugden, and he has to fix it. He has to be in control. He finds Aaron drowning his sorrows, and instead of he decides this is the time to play the martyr. Do you have any idea how difficult it's been, trying to protect everyone else from getting hurt? He told a simmering Aaron, I got Vic, I've got Kev, I've got you. I'm looking out for everyone except for myself. Oh, Robert, Rom, move. That right there was the moment Aaron's grief turned into pure, unadulterated rage. He saw Robert not as a terrified man who made a bad choice, but as a selfish manipulator trying to paint himself as the victim in a mess he created. Poor little Robert, Aaron spat back, the words dripping with a sarcasm so cold it could freeze fire. Why don't you just go back to your weird little marriage? Because I'm sure Kev will be there waiting for you with open arms and a big fat paycheck. Ouch. Not only did he hit the marriage button, but he implied it was transactional, that Robert was in it for the money. It was a low blow designed to hurt, and it worked. But Aaron wasn't done. He was just warming up. He called back to Robert's story of survival, twisting it into an accusation of weakness. You are that weak and pathetic that you had to marry the resident psycho just so you had a bit of protection. That's the one. That's the line that hit Robert's pride, his ego, his entire sense of self. Aaron wasn't just angry, he was disgusted. He was weaponizing Robert's trauma against him. With Victoria and Patty now watching this horrifying car crash unfold, Robert did what he always does when he's wounded. He bit back, harder. He went nuclear. He couldn't win the argument about Kev, so he changed the battlefield. He decided to throw Aaron's own dark past right back in his face. He brought up the supervillain John. Oh, sorry, I forgot, you didn't know, Robert sneered, implying that Aaron wasn't so innocent or oblivious when it came to his criminal ex. This was it, the point of no return. Robert wasn't just being cruel, he was trying to drag Aaron down into the mud with him. He was essentially screaming, "You're no better than I am. You're just as damaged, just as complicit." That was too much. The implication that he was anything like the men who had abused and manipulated him his entire life. Aaron snapped. He lunged for Robert, a primal scream of rage and pain, ready to tear him apart as Patty and Victoria rushed to intervene. And then came the words that may have just signed the death certificate for Robron. Aaron, shaking with a fury that looked more like agony, growled, "I never ever thought I could hate anybody as much as I hate you right now." He didn't say, "I don't love you." He didn't say, "I'm angry with you." He said, "I hate you." He put Robert Sugden, the love of his life, in the same category as the monsters who haunt his nightmares. "So from now on, you stay out of my life for good. Do you understand?" Robert was left rattled, shaken to his core. He had finally pushed Aaron too far. He had unleashed a side of Aaron that wasn't just heartbroken, but was filled with pure corrosive hate. So where do we even go from here? Seriously, I'm asking, is there any hope left? Couples fight, even iconic soap couples. But this felt different. This felt final. They didn't just break trust, they used each other's deepest traumas as weapons. They said the things you can never unsay. How can Aaron ever look at Robert again without feeling that flash of hatred? How can Robert ever forgive Aaron for calling him weak and pathetic after the trauma he endured? And let's not forget the ticking time bomb in the background. Kev gets out of the hospital tomorrow. He's going to come looking for his husband. Tonight was an absolute masterclass in emotional devastation. Robert and Aaron are completely shattered, and for the first time in a long time, I truly don't know if they can be put back together again. What did you think? Is this the real permanent end for Robron? Can they ever come back from this level of hate? Let me know your thoughts in the comments because I am going to be thinking about this all night.